Hey, what's up YouTube? So today we're racing in Willow Springs and we are starting in P10, as you can see there, with the time of 17:1. Not at all the greatest time, but that's what we race for. We race to get better. So off to a rolling start. Can't really do a bad start, can we? We've got a Polish guy up ahead of us and a Belgian behind us, and that's pretty much where the race will stay. Or will it? So we're off and we try to get into the slipstream of the Polish guy as soon as possible without compromising our speed. One of the things I do need to work on is my first lap, because obviously different lines, different brake markers with the starting rolling start. We don't do too badly in the first corner, but definitely not good enough. Into the next corner, also do average, not great. But then coming into the next corner, which is turn number, I'm not sure. You kind of catch up on the Polish guy. Make sure not to brake too hard over Budweiser balcony. Yes, I googled that. And completely wreck that corner. But end up saving it, not too bad. Looks like everybody else had a bit of a shoddy exit. So we're catching up quite nicely. Things are going to get a little bit exciting coming into turn 8, the sweeper. So I go wide so that I can follow the Polish, who just nudges the fellow Belgian through. I'll make sure to hit our apex on the exit, because turn 9 is my least favorite on the track. It's like driving on a knife's edge. Go too fast, you go straight off. Go too slow, well, you'll see what happens in a few laps time. Anyway, so we relegated up to P7 from P10, not bad. We hit the brake mark on turn 1, catch up really nicely to the back of the Polish. Take turn 2 at least, relatively okay. And we follow the Polish through. So one of my problems is that I do tend to be a little bit too aggressive and start fighting too early. And I also make way too many mistakes. So these are the things that I want to work on, my consistency and learning when to be aggressive and when not to be aggressive. From the likes of Super GT and Dave Perel, they do tend to leave the aggressive driving till late on in the lap, or the race I should say. So I'll be keeping that in mind and just trying to follow the Polish guy, who has made quite a decent gap on me now. It is wow. I don't even know. I can't explain what happened there. I think I just was focused too much on getting to the outside of the corner and then focusing back to the inside. I have no idea. Anyway, we're going to finish the race in P14. Absolute horrendous race. Yeah. Going from hero to zero in one corner. Anyway, so let's try that one more time. Let's see if we can do a better race. Okay, so we're back again. We have just spent a couple of minutes qualifying, just getting more familiar with the track, and now we're up to 16.8 up in P7. Would highly recommend doing qualifying before racing, spending a bit of time on the track so that you're comfortable with being online and offline, so that you don't bin it and do absolutely horrible things to your ranking. I'm not sure if everybody else is on the same wavelength, but we're all aiming for A+, and hopefully we'll get there together. But now we are ranking A, and we're off to a good start. Not a good start, but we're off to a start. And we've got a Spanish up ahead and a Dane behind us, who both seem to have some decent pace based on their qualifying times. So anyway, that's a much better turn 1 than the previous race. The most important thing for us now is not to be too aggressive or aggressive at all on the first 2 to 3 laps, and we'll start racking up the pressure on lap 4 and 5. So we'll stay out of all the trouble, because something is bound to happen. It's daily race after all. Cool, so here we go. coming down into turn 5, I think it is, the really important thing is to come in really slow so that you're able to get on the power as fast as possible. So, because that turn does tend to spit you out wide and you have to pull out the throttle just to get over that hill. So we stay nice and tucked behind the Spanish slipstream. Keep nice and tight to the right hand side of the track before we head straight across and roll into turn 9. Staying nice and wide. Well, you see, that's not actually that uncommon, that mistake that I made. But anyway, I do keep an eye up ahead, and you see that P4 is getting away because of P5 and 6 fighting. So I throw it up the inside, get a little bit of a door banger as a consolation. But we threw on P5, and we have our eye set in P4. We seem to be gaining on them visually, so we stay calm. We make sure that there's a decent enough gap between the German behind us and the Spanish guy up ahead. So we come around the bend, trail brake not too hard, aim for that inside curb, power on, race down the hill, slow and steady, so that we're able to get the throttle as quick as possible. So far, feeling really comfortable. It's always good when you're catching the guy up ahead. And I definitely account that to spending some time just qualifying, putting in the laps, putting in the practice. So here we see a Lebanese and a Spanish doing all sorts of amazing things through turn 9. I'm surprised they didn't touch. That's fantastic racing, exactly what we should all be doing. So they did compromise their speed a little bit, and they're giving me a double slipstream, which I will not complain about, thank you very much. So we're catching them, which we obviously are very happy about. So we come around turn 2, not the greatest, but we're going to make sure not to fight, just carry on taking the slipstream and gaining time on the drivers ahead. So the Lebanese gets out of shape, compromises his line a little bit. I get distracted, shouldn't be doing that, but unfortunately the Spanish guy and the Brit up ahead decides to get out of shape and compromise their lines going down to turn 8. I see a bit of a glitch, get completely thrown by that. But it's not the worst problem in the world. We managed to get through that fairly unscathed. Anyway, so we've got a Brit and a Lebanese up ahead of us going into turn 9. What are we going to do? We're going to stay wide just in case something happens on the inside, so we have space and the momentum going down the final straight. So we managed to get past the Lebanese really easily. Too much fighting into turn 9. Highly recommend you just stick behind the guy ahead and take him into turn 1 instead, because it's a slower corner, and also that back straight can make or break a lot of time. I go quite wide into turn 2, not the greatest, but then pull it back in, and I'm either fixated on P2. I feel like it's just a little bit too stressed, so this is lap 4. This is the time when we start cranking up the pressure, so that's exactly what we'll be doing. We're going to try and get right onto the backside of the Brit and force a mistake. So this race does get really interesting between myself and the Lebanese, and I thought we'll add some different angles into this one. Just makes for some cool viewing. So we'll see what happens in the lap to come. So right now, as always, we'll go wide so that we do, if anything, have a run up on the Brit. The Lebanese tries to come on the inside. We keep it nice and tidy, no contact. I'm really impressed with that drive, and the Lebanese does a fantastic job of not touching, which everybody could race like this. So we stick on the backside of the Brit. As always, we're going to stick a ton of pressure on your shoulders, see if you'll crack, and if not, we'll try and stick it up the inside of one of the final corners coming down into turn 5. That'll be our last opportunity to get past. Not the ideal place to be, overtaking because we'll lose all our momentum going down into turn 8. But you see the Brit goes onto the gravel. I have to pull out the throttle, and that allows the Lebanese to come right up beside us, and we're stuck on the inside. And unfortunately there's a bit of contact, and the Lebanese goes out wide, and for good measure we have a 3-second penalty. Now for some reason I was so fixated on that 3 seconds and noticed that the driver behind was 2.5 seconds behind. And I was thinking so hard about how I was going to get 0.5 seconds going into the last corner that I decided to drop a gear, something I never do, touch the inside curb, and fly straight off the track, throwing away a perfectly good podium from P7. And for good measure, we get a 5-second penalty for barrier collision. All in all, quite a good race. We managed to do everything that we did aim to do, but on the final corner decided to bin it just because of a little bit of a messy last 2 sectors. Anyway, lots to learn, lots for us to continue working on, as previously mentioned. It's going to be a slow and steady race to A+, but hopefully we can get there together. If you have any recommendations, any ways that I could improve, I'd really appreciate that. What are your thoughts on the incident that happened going into turn 5? Was that my fault? Was that the Lebanese guy's fault? Was it just a racing incident? What could I have done to avoid it? I'd appreciate your comments in the comment section below. Anyway guys, that's me for Willow Springs. I'll be posting the next video of a daily race that's next up. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next time. Bye.